Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today it is with great pride that I am unboxing Paradigm's Founders 100F Floorstanding Speakers. These are stunning. The top of their new Founders range. Big speakers, dynamic speakers, and you will see every essence of why I'm so proud to be sharing these with you today. The Founders series are large floor-standing speakers, so you will see that they will be shipped in 2 individual boxes. Because they're packed identically, I'm just going to concentrate on one today. But the reason I'm standing rather than traditionally around the coffee table is to imply immediately the scale of these speakers and how beautiful they will be. I've opted to grab these in a black, which is one of the alternative finishes. The speakers probably look, I don't know, a bit sort of subtly boring perhaps in black, but the wood grains and other colours are available. We'll have a look and we'll have a bit of fun as we share these today. So, the packaging. As you can see, Paradigm, brown boxes, line drawing associated with the speaker itself, immediately implying what you're going to see in the box. The model number of 100F associates that with its physical size. They've got an 80F, slightly more compact floor stander, F for floor stander and B for bookshelf. The boxes themselves have scan information of the serial number and model on the side as well as on the top. Spinning it around, you see the line drawing emulated what we see here, and another for the model and serial number. Tilting it forward for a moment, I want to ensure that everybody sees the first thing, which is stop. Open the other end. With any large floor-standing speaker, it's really important that people get an understanding of how to unbox them and get the best out of them. And the easiest is to turn them over. One of the reasons Paradigm actually put all the accessories and things at one end, it's also the way that naturally people will freight them. But it's a third thing, and that's how you're going to unbox them. Anything physically large and heavy, you're not going to lift the speaker out of the box. You're going to take the box off the speaker, and that's the important element. Opening them, very straightforward. The speakers have that sort of paper fabric tape. So the craft knife has to be utilised across all of its surfaces, and like any time we use a craft knife in any of our new purchases, please ensure that the knife doesn't actually drill too deep. The next step, because these are stapled, is never very elegant, and it's just about ripping the carton. Should it expose any of these staples, the very first thing that anybody needs to do is get rid of them. Potentially you could hurt yourself, but most important is that you could scratch your new speakers, and that would be fatal. So get rid of the staples. Now I recommend with any large speaker, the first thing you kind of do is make sure that you've flexed and bent the cardboard so that it doesn't necessarily spring back closed again. It just gives you another option as far as being able to ensure that during this next step it's going to behave for you. Then, from that point, we'll pause for a moment and see that we've got a large oversized bag sealing the entire speaker. From this point, it's about lying it first on its side, dragging it, and then lifting it up. And again, then your small investment in time bending the flaps has ensured that they stay out at this point and don't end up scooping up underneath the speaker. Utilising the side handles, lift. So the oversized bag protects the speaker, and then we've got cardboard ends ensuring that any impact from the side is absorbed as well. Obviously 4 of those. Now the bag is then sealed with some basic tape. Opening that, very straightforward. Now at this point we quickly identify whether or not the speaker is upright or not. Naturally the speaker is tapered, and that's part of its construction to ensure an almost wing shape from, square edges, that is. So we're now looking at the speaker upright, and the next best thing you can do is remove the closed cell foam packaging, which again, look at the size of it. They've gone to elaborate measures to ensure that the speaker is well protected and frayed. To the back, and I'll probably just spin it around so you see, is the speaker grill. It's taped top and bottom, so we'll just quickly pull the bag down and put the grill off to one side. Pulling the bag away means that you can then kind of grip the speaker easily, spinning it around, and get access to it. Now, this cloth bag is then sort of sealed at the bottom with a piece of sort of polished cloth. Ideal for the gloss finishes, but equally to protect any of the finishes that Paradigm have produced. At this point, the easiest is to sort of rock it and then grab the steel feet, and if you have to, with your foot, just kick away the extra packaging. So there's the cloth that I mentioned, and again an emulation of the closed cell foam packaging. Now, wobbling it around, the first thing you need to sort of understand is that the speaker isn't quite complete at this point. There's the first thing, which of course is exposing the speaker, but the second thing is to start to kind of put it together. So as we reveal the speaker for the first time, the cloth bag, lovely finish, and the inside is a polished cloth of some kind. We see this sort of very elegant black finish, but it wobbles around. Now, one of the reasons it wobbles around is, and I'll just tilt it back, and please, at this point, always hang around for the photographs at the end. We'll see that sort of semi-assembly and all of the close-ups of the bits that I mentioned. If we lean it back, you'll see an elaborate nature as far as the feet. You see, these are ready to spin round and lock in place. And one of the reasons that it wobbled so much is that they were out of place. So, looking at the speaker for a moment, as we just move it into the right location, we've got the recessed tweeter beautifully protected with the now iconic grill cover. Now, that cover means that you can poke it and prod it, not that you would, and it's beautifully protected. It has a series of small holes in the middle, and then it tapers out to larger ones as we end up at the edge. It's recessed for both time alignment and also to ensure that the tweeter can disperse evenly into the space. We've got the mid-range driver protected with a disbursement grill. The concave nature and all of the holes have been elaborately engineered to ensure that, again, we're reducing any potential resonance and ensuring that the mid-range can penetrate brilliantly into the space. There are 3 bass drivers with this model, and that is one of the reasons that the speaker produces such a prestigious and a mighty amount of bass, but it's controlled, and that's the difference between most in its category. These are lively, detailed, without being bright. They have a wonderful mid-range and a dynamic bass, yet are relatively compact from a footprint perspective. So it's wonderful to see that Paradigm have invested so much time and energy in their cabinet design to ensure that they're quite appealing from a physical perspective as well. Now at this point, the very best thing you can do is actually sit the speaker back on its head and find the accessories that I spun off over there, carefully lifting it onto its back and then onto its head. We can see, and please hang around for the photographs, I'll take close-ups. There's an option at this point to put the fitting screws in, but in the accessory pack that we see within, we've got a hex script key or star key and 4 of these bolts associated with locking these feet in place. It means immediately you're securing the feet in the angle that the engineers are proposing. And it makes a very tight fit and finish immediately. Now it's worth mentioning that it's kind of important. The port, which is at the base of the speaker, is you could potentially drop the tool or the screws down it. So if you can, maybe put something in there during the process. Now with the accessories, taking that out, we've got now the 4 beautiful milled feet. Now these slot in and are then from the top adjusted if required. Now look at that from a presentation perspective, and again, always hang around for the photographs. You'll see some close-ups of some of these beautiful pieces. Right. Pausing for a moment, we now see the massive port. And please, hang around, I'll try and take some close-ups of just how elaborate the bracing elements are in this. With any compact speaker box, you're going to need to deal with resonance and other things like that in a very controlled manner. Nevertheless, looking at the speaker, firstly you'll see quite a tapered shape. Now not curved and wing-like, those cabinets are ridiculously expensive to do. They're folded and pressed. That process gives you probably 95–99% of the results of a curved cabinet from a much more cost-effective, dense and much heavier design. The tapering shape means that there are no parallel lines, so it's working with some of the cabinet reflections that most speaker manufacturers choose to ignore. Again, if we pause and have a look at the speaker, we've got a beautiful sort of front. This is clamped on the front of the speaker, allowing the box to do its job and the reflection of the front surface do it as well. These use the now iconic annulus design that we see with Paradigm and some of their beautiful extruded main bass drivers. Again, looking at the side, we see that tapering effect, and it's at the back. Just pause and put that foot back in. Now, looking at the back, we see a much narrower speaker at the top, and again, it's all part of their attempts to make a wing shape without having to have the press moulding costs associated with it, and why these sound so good given their price. The back is very, very elegant. It's not until the bottom we see the founder's logo, Paradigm, and of course a model number. We've got rhodium binding posts, bridging clips, and a model and serial number emulation at the bottom. So, there we have it. Paradigm's beautiful and ready to be an icon floor standing speaker. The 100Fs, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.